all very welcome. My name is Jacinta. This is Build Beyond You. This channel is dedicated to those who are in the process of rediscovering their identities, nurturing what God has placed in them, their abilities, strengths, which are revealed through the opportunities, the platforms where you are placed. And those same platforms expose weaknesses in you that you need to deal with. And in the process of nurturing, that's where we overcome different obstacles that we experience in life and then step into our true leadership authority. So we have moved from that 3-phase process into the next level, which is stewardship. What has been entrusted in your possession? Are you aware of it? Yesterday, we were focusing on awareness of what has been entrusted to you, because that's the first phase of stewardship. And then you get to nurture, build inwardly first before you go out to build anything. So when you nurture that has been entrusted to you, then it's much easier for you to go out and steward it, teach it, and mentor others. So yesterday we focused so much on awareness. I asked you so many reflection questions to do with, are you aware of what it is that has been entrusted to you? And today we are going to be focusing on consistency. That is the only proof of stewardship. If you wake up every single day and you do exactly what has been entrusted to you, first of all, you will not only build power, but you will gain authority to speak in that area, that sphere of leadership. I have done this for this number of years, trained in this. I have been able to provide solutions to the different challenges and obstacles in this sphere specifically. So what gives you authority? What gives you power? That consistency, that everyday time, even when you face a lot of resistance, even when things are not going on well for you, what you persistently pay attention to, if you are actually called to that, because there's also being persistent in an area that you're not called to. And that's something that we talked about in the rediscovery sessions in December. So you cannot nurture what you refuse to stay with. You must be able to stay with it no matter the resistance, the obstacles that you experience. You must be able to say, I will stay with this one and I'm not going to move away. I will hit it until I can be able to say, I can replicate myself. You are very welcome. My name is Jacinta. This is Build Beyond You. This channel is dedicated to those who are in the process of rediscovering their identities. If you find that your identity has been misaligned one way or the other, how do we get it back in alignment? How do we get our goals, our values, our vision, our character, everything aligned? And then we focus forward. That is the nurturing bit. We step into our true leadership authority. Now we are stewarding. Yesterday we talked about awareness. Today we're talking about consistency. Let me give you a recap of yesterday. I asked you what has been placed in your hands, the responsibilities that keep finding you. What do people consistently come to you for? How resistance increases when your awareness increases of that is placed in your hands. When I talk about hands, that's literally, but it may not necessarily be in your hands. The fear of naming the responsibility because of its weight. When something has been assigned to you and you know it comes off you naturally, you don't even have to think about it. You don't even have to do so much about it. Michael, sorry, I'll keep referring to you like the saxophonist. If I tried to even put my mouth on that instrument, I can't do it because I'm not cut out to do that. But there's someone who's going to pick up that instrument and it's going to flow just naturally. So that's something that you naturally do because it's inclined to your DNA. Okay? And somehow you find that you are attracted to those kind of people, environments, and they're also attracted to you. So opportunities in that area are the ones that come to you more. And people consistently come to you for solutions in that area. But then you also experience a lot of resistance in the same area. And you'll live and question yourself and say, really, am I called to this? Because this kind of resistance? No, I don't think I'm cut out for this. You'll question yourself a million times when you're going through these challenges and resistances. But that goes to show you that you're actually growing, you're pushing, you're moving forward. Because the curve can't just go straight up like this. Okay? And we said yesterday that you cannot steward what you have not yet recognized. That's why I asked the question, what has been placed in your hands? Today I want us to go deeper. Okay? Awareness without consistency, if you do not put in time, commitment, effort, your everything, your all, then that awareness is just going to be awareness. It's like having an idea and not taking action. And that's my number one go-to. I keep saying, yes, you have an idea. Then what? Step into the unknown spaces, because that's what consistency requires. Even when you do not know what's going to happen next, even when you don't know how exactly you're going to do it, just make the first step. Make the first step. Imagine if you're making $1 an hour. Whatever you're doing to make that $1, what you need to do to have consistency in what you're supposed to be doing. Consistency is the proof of stewardship. First, you're aware of it, right? How do you stay long enough? You have to nurture. Nurturing requires your time. Most of the times we fail not because we lack vision, but because we want to escape the discomfort that comes with the awareness of, oh, this is what I am called to. This is what I am very good at doing. People come to me for this. You have the vision, but the discomfort is also going to come. And sometimes that escape can look like it's productive for you, but you may become busy with something completely off, totally different. And then you're like, yeah, I'm productive in this area, but you have escaped because it has come with discomfort. It's probably asking for more of your time than you wanted to give it. It's asking for more of you. It comes with weight. I'll give you my example when I talk about discomfort. In my time of doing contract catering, the restaurant, and real estate, every time I experienced discomfort, how much do I have? I invest more. So I make myself too busy with investing so that it takes up all my time, because that requires time as well. I invest more instead of focusing on where is the discomfort coming from, why, where, who, what. I wouldn't pay attention to the discomfort. I would just get a pain reliever, investing. I'll just look for new ideas, new programs, new direction. But the truth, I never wanted to face it. If I was lacking systems and structures, I never wanted to think about it. So each and every leader at some point experiences discomfort. In your discomfort, the question is, what is it that you're running to relieve that discomfort? Because then you are breaking the rhythm of the nurturing that we're talking about. Because nurturing requires repetition. Nurturing requires stability. Nurturing requires you showing up even when it's not exciting. Nurturing requires you staying even when it's very hard. For me, investment was my pain relief. So you need to ask yourself that question. What is it that you run to? If you are a leader, you definitely have pain relievers somewhere, somehow. So instead of strengthening what was already in my hands, I built more. That was my way of avoiding confronting those weaknesses in what I already had. I didn't want to confront the weaknesses. Discomfort is the hardest thing. Pain, no one wants to go through that. And do you know why leaders do that? Because we have authority. Because you can. Especially when you're self-employed. You have the authority to do it. You have the authority to switch on the light and to switch it off. So you can afford to get a pain relief. But remember, stewardship is going to demand something different from you. When you are a leader, steward, people are watching you. People are modeling you. People are building based on your rhythm. You can explore new things, no problem. But you cannot afford inconsistency. You see, this inconsistency at the top as a leader multiplies instability below, because that's what's going to happen. As long as you're inconsistent, there's going to be instability at this level, at this level, at that level. And stewardship is going to become that default mode for you as a leader, whether you like it or not. So the earlier you embrace awareness, nurturing, teaching, before you move forward to building another better. Because you don't want to build so many things, say like 5 businesses, and when you die, they died with you. I'm sure you've heard of those examples. When you're gone, they are sold the next day. Even before you rot in the grave, people are already auctioning. You have heard of that, and that comes with a lack of stewardship. We don't want to labor, because you can't run away from laboring. If you're going to labor as a leader, are you going to labor in vain? You don't want to labor, and then at the end of the day, you look at yourself in the mirror and what happened? Brings me to the next part. Usually I ask reflection questions. This is a reflection session now, okay? Because I want you to now mirror back what I am saying. What do you build when you should be nurturing? What is it that you're building when you should be nurturing? Let me give you an example. Do I start new projects when the current one becomes uncomfortable? Do I launch something new instead of fixing what's already leaking? Instead of nurturing what I already had that was in my hands, I was running to invest. So what is it that you're building when you should be nurturing something? What is it that you've put on the side? Yesterday we were talking about awareness. Today we're talking about consistency in that which you have become aware of. Your leadership sphere, that area of stewardship. Financial status. Okay, you should be nurturing financial status, or you're building your financial status. Is that what you're building? What is it that you have put aside? Yes, there's discomfort around that area. So what you've decided to do is to focus on something else and put it aside. Yes, it's an ongoing thing, but you've put it aside. Investing in schooling to understand more of human behavior to get a bachelor. Now that is you nurturing. Beautiful. Yeah, you're actually not putting it aside. You're on track. That's a very beautiful thing. Because if you're investing in schooling to understand more of human behavior, and at the same time, you are building your financial status, that's a beautiful thing. You are on track. So, guys, the reason as to why we participate, it helps you to, okay, maybe you're doing it on the side, which is okay, but it helps you to answer these questions because you're answering yourself. You're doing it for yourself. So when you answer these questions, you then assess yourself and ask yourself, am I on track? Where am I? So I'm sure maybe you have not had the chance to sit down and do this analysis, but this helps you to, even if you've done it before, it's not bad to go back again and say, okay, let me check. Am I on track? So when you hear it from somebody else, then you're like, okay, I'm on track. And if you're not on track, it gives you this awareness of what do I need to do? What am I missing? What have I put aside? Okay, this area, I've been very uncomfortable in this area. I think I need to go back and look at it and give it some time as well, and face the pains and the discomfort that comes with it. Because like I always say, when you are experiencing resistance in an area, that shows you that you are actually doing good, you're growing. Because if you don't experience resistance and things are just moving on smoothly, then there's something that's not right there. So you need to go back again and to those areas that you have put aside. Okay? Expansion is not vision sometimes. It's avoidance. Absolutely. Thank you. Don't avoid what you should be nurturing. Go back to the drawing board and look at it. So, guys, again, participate. This is for your own good. So let me go to the next question. What discomfort are you trying to escape when you shift directions? I'll repeat that. What discomfort are you trying to escape when you shift directions? Let me give you an example. Maybe, are you avoiding feedback? Are you avoiding consistency? Are you avoiding discipline? Are you avoiding confronting your weaknesses? When you name it, then it will be easy for you to deal with it, because you're going to become proactive instead of being reactive. Avoiding is being reactive, by the way. But proactive means facing it, naming it, describing it, knowing where it's coming from, what's the root cause of this. And then you start step by step. What is the solution to this? As simple as that. It may not be as hard as it comes off. Now, growth may feel repetitive before it feels powerful. It may feel like I'm doing this again and again and again, and the next thing you know, and you don't even know how it came about because you've kept on putting in the work. That's the nurturing bit that we're talking about. So if you name the discomfort that you're trying to escape, next question. 3, where in your leadership are you inconsistent, but you expect loyalty from others? Where in your leadership are you inconsistent, but expect loyalty from others? Let me give you an example. You expect your team to be disciplined, but you shift focus weekly. You expect commitment, but you disappear when it gets hard. As a leader, you cannot demand stability if you don't model it. So I need you to be honest with yourself. Where is it in your leadership, that particular area? Are you inconsistent, but you expect loyalty from others? I've given you 2 examples. Why are you laughing? It's the truth. Do you expect commitment, but when it gets hard, you take off? Some questions you can reply, but you feel they're not yours. Reply for others. They may not necessarily be yours. So reply. Now at least you put a disclaimer, so we won't put it on you. So reply for others. I know sometimes the questions are too hard, but this is not for babies. This channel is for mature people who are ready to steward what they're carrying. Because for you to be able to steward what you're carrying, you must be mature. You must have gone through levels of, you must have climbed that mountain. It's not only lonely at the top, it's also hard because it takes everything in you. The difficult questions are the questions of discovering your life. The reason as to why you share is for you to be able to, when you name it, it gets out of you. Punctuality at work, but you expect others to be on time, and moreover, you are the model. You are modeling it out for others. You're setting the patterns for them. So how do you expect them to be punctual when you're not? So maybe when you go back and reflect, you ask yourself these questions and then write down where in your leadership you are inconsistent, but expect a loyalty from others. You cannot demand stability that you do not model. Okay? You cannot demand punctuality that you don't model. You cannot demand commitment that you don't model. You cannot demand discipline that you don't model. Everything, name them. Just name everything you've been demanding of your team. And are you modeling that? If you can tick, then let's go to the next question. What have you abandoned that only required consistency to mature? What have you abandoned that only required consistency to mature? Let me give you an example. Maybe there's a program that needed refinement. You didn't need to replace it, but you just needed to refine it. And if you had paid attention to that program so that you can refine areas that are not doing well and not replace it. Let me give you another example. Maybe a team member that needed mentoring and not dismissal. There was a solution that was supposed to be birthed from you if you had not abandoned that team member. Sat down and said, let me draw a plan. How do I help this person? How do I mentor this person? Because sometimes when God is shifting you as a person from just being an ordinary leader to becoming a steward, these are challenges He's going to bring to you. He's going to bring hard people. And then it won't require you to gossip about them. It's going to require you to come up with a step-by-step mentoring process. How are you going to help this person? Mentoring some people, yet you're always unprepared. So preparation is something that you have abandoned that required consistency for you to mature. That's what you mentioned in Miss Surprise, right? Because as a leader, you have to prepare how you're going to lead your people. You have to prepare everything. By the way, I'm guilty as charged before 5 years ago. And that's why I was given this mandate. I'll teach it. Because you failed at it, go back and nurture it. Now teach it. So don't just stop at being a leader. Using bored as a tool of an excuse, yet boredomness is an area of regaining your inner you. That's true. Sometimes boredomness means reflection. It's a call to reflect. It's not necessarily boredom. And sometimes we don't like boredom, especially when you're active. Some of us were forced to be bored. But it wasn't boredom. It was a time to reflect on all the years of mistakes and blah, blah, blah. For example, is there a calling that needed you to endure, not to reinvent? You've said preparation, you've talked about boredom. There are areas that require you to endure, not to just go out and reinvent. You need to name those areas that you have abandoned that only required your consistency to mature. But you run away from it because it's boring, uncomfortable, because it's taking up your money, your time, and it's not yet making money for you. Confidence, yes. Yes, confidence requires consistency to mature. Yesterday we had someone here saying that how do I get to speak to people? And we talked about doing it again and again. And that's consistency, taking it one step after the other. Give an example of a baby crawling, then the baby gets up. It doesn't happen one day. There are milestones at every level. And so is leadership. From rediscovering your identity, to nurturing those innate abilities, to overcoming those obstacles that hinder you, to then stepping into your true leadership authority. And now you become aware of the responsibilities that have been placed in your hands. And then you nurture that inwardly. Then you go out there and you nurture others. That is the true journey of a leader. But by the time you get to the rediscovery part, that means you've had opportunities, platforms, environments, and people, experiences that have given you a chance to reveal a lot that is in you. So if you're young and you're on this channel, don't take those opportunities lightly. Even when they are very, very uncomfortable, those are opportunities to expose and reveal both weaknesses and strengths. Now, it's that collection, because you must have receipts to enter into the sphere of leadership, lest you're going to go back down to like a zillion times. So when you step into this area after you have gone through this, if you have not skipped any step, then you're going to have that authority in that area. But if you skip the steps and you want to be a leader without these receipts, that's a topic for another day. We need to talk about And I'll give you examples of things that we ignore because we've missed steps. If you miss those steps, if you don't allow yourself to go through those experiences and you go up there, you see someone dropping from up to down, poof, because there's so many steps that were missed, that were not nurtured in them. Let me give you my last question. If you stayed consistent with one thing for 12 months, what would change? For example, if you committed to showing up daily, if you refined one system instead of creating 5, 10, 8, 12, 20, if you mastered one lane before you expand, that is staying with one thing for 12 months, what do you think would change? Of course, you will get results for consistency. Yes, results. And results could be monetary, could be promotion, opportunities, access to rooms that you would never have imagined to step into. Yes, opportunities. You see, consistency compounds. But when you have scattered efforts, that drains instead of. So don't scatter your efforts. Show up daily in this thing. Refine that system. Don't build more 5 systems. No, until you can steward it. Don't build 5 more. Master that one lane before you expand. And then you'll see the opportunities. Thank you. Opening up doors for big gigs. Exactly. Consistency is not limitation. Sometimes it comes off as a limitation because it requires you all. You feel like, I'm doing the same thing. This is too repetitive. I don't like this routine. I don't like it. But it is maturity. It is staying with what has been placed in your hands long enough. Nurture it into something that can outlive you. When I say build beyond you, nurture it to something that can outlive you. I met someone who told me, I'm not interested in something that will outlive me. I said, because this is not for everybody. Stewardship is not for everybody. Not everybody thinks impact. I'm out there to get my money and that's it. I don't want to know about the rest. Yeah, people need this topic, but few people will understand its importance, definitely. That's why we don't speak to everybody. So you must know who you are called to. You may not be called to 1,000 people. You must be able to know who you're called to. I'm called to leaders, visionaries, impact-oriented, because money for us is a tool. And money is attracted to what multiplies it. Money is attracted to who respects it. Money is attracted to who uses it for what it needs to be used for. So if I can establish a system in this particular area, refine it, make sure it's good to go. I'll keep talking about Elon Musk, but he respects money. What I like about him is the consistency. The factors are left constant. When he's focused on doing one thing, he's going to do it and do it so well, and he's going to be able to sell it. Meanwhile, at a very high price. So what is it that has been entrusted to you? You have to ask yourself a question. Can I sell it? And how much can I sell it? Those are questions that I didn't ask myself when I was going through the grind that time when I was working. And it takes consistency to be in the 1%. Consistency proves that you value what has been placed in your hands. When you nurture through consistency, you prepare yourself to teach it. You cannot teach discipline if you don't practice discipline. You cannot raise stable leaders if you are unstable. You cannot multiply what you constantly abandon. This month is about stewardship. Stewardship is going to require awareness. I'm going to post the video about awareness on YouTube, Build Beyond You. By end of this day, you can catch up with it. Stewardship requires awareness, consistency. Because before you multiply, you must be aware and you must be consistent. You can't multiply when you are not aware of what is it that is placed in your hands. You can't multiply what you have not consistently nurtured, which requires consistency. Yes, can you teach finance when you're not stable? A lot belongs there. Yes, you can actually teach finance when you're not stable. You may not be stable, but there's a reason as to why you're not stable. It may contradict with what I have said. You cannot teach discipline when you're not disciplined yourself. Yeah? But when we talk about teaching, let me give you an example. You could be on your way to stability in that area of finance. So as you teach, you're also teaching yourself. Every time you teach somebody, there are so many questions, so many answers, so many revelations that are going to come along the way as you teach. Teaching is different from multiplication. Teaching is imparting information, knowledge, delivering somebody through that knowledge that you're giving them. Maybe you should say you cannot teach what you have not really experienced unless you're just theory-based. But if it's experiential, then you can teach it. You may not be there where you need to be, but you have the authority to teach it based on your experience, understanding, or practical solutions that you have developed from that experience or the challenges that you experienced. There's a difference between that and multiplication and stability. You may be stable financially, but when you cannot even teach it, you're not a mentor, a leader. You're not meant to be that. It's not your area to teach. But maybe you can actually finance that area in your own company, like building up a mentorship apprenticeship program in your own business. That's something that we also do. Build up a mentorship apprenticeship program in your business, and you have the leaders to actually do this. Because what you're doing, creating, first of all, a pipeline for yourself. And second of all, you are multiplying these abilities, the leaders you have hired, let's say 5 experts. When they leave, what happens? So how about you implement the mentorship apprenticeship program in the ecosystem of your business? When they leave, it doesn't affect you 100%. You don't have to experience burnout as the owner of the business. So if you're interested in creating that mentorship apprenticeship program in your business, contact me. Go into my inbox and contact me. Also, being financially stable can be subjective. That is true, Mike. That is true. That is very true. And teaching is the ability to articulate and inspire knowledge. Not anywhere connected to what you're doing. That is true. But okay, that's something that we shall discuss. Before you build more, name what's already in your hands. Please, before you expand, before you build 5 systems, first expand what's already in your hands. And before you expand, prove that you can stay with this one. Prove that you can stay with it, prove that you can sell it, prove that it can be passed on to other people, and then you go to the next. That you can wake up in the morning and you don't even think about it, but it's actually just minting money, or the system is already in place. You've seen those businesses that have lasted more than 100 years, and the original vision bearer is long gone, but the thing is still going on. Why should we count them on our fingers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Tomorrow we meet at the same time. Have a very beautiful day. Bye. Bye, guys. you.